Welcome everyone to the HGC chat series. Today we have a special guest, Mr. Karim Amour, all the way from Morocco, Casablanca especially. Thank you so much for the invitation to be here in Morocco. This is amazing and I'm so delighted to be in your own studio. Thank you again for being a guest.
It's my pleasure, Rashida, really.
This season is so special because we're focusing on HGC chat series. We're focusing on the real ROI of AI in healthcare, and we couldn't be more delighted to have Karim, which will allow me to use his first name to address him today. Before we get started, I would like to read a short bio of you to our audience, if that's okay. So Karim, he's a deep tech entrepreneur and innovation leader with more than 30 years of experience in data management, emerging technologies, and venture creation. He's also the CEO of Jet Group, CEO and founder of Jet Group and ep17, and author of Renaissance Now book that we'll talk about during this interview as well. He is the co-founder of Founders, board member of Endeavor Morocco, president of the Moroccan Diaspora Entrepreneurs Commission within GEM, and there's so much more to it. So let's dive into this interview. Thank you again for joining us today. It's the HGC chat series, and thank you for the invitation to be here in Morocco and speaking to you.
My pleasure, Rashida.
I have so many questions, but we're going to start with something really personal, which is about your journey, which is really amazing. I know we talked off camera, and I'm sure we don't have time to talk all about it. Can you tell us about your career journey? And I know it's going to be just 2-3 minutes, your career journey, and most specifically, what problems you're most passionate about solving today?
My career journey started over 35 to 36 years ago. I was a banker at the time and doing quant as a mathematician by training. And I was in the US, and I decided to quit the job I was in to get back to Morocco for personal reasons, because I got to know through the relations with the doctors in France that I had a pituitary tumor. Then I had to get back to do my checks and so on. And my whole life got mixed up because I realized that I could die after 2 months if I didn't do my operation. And this changes your brain one way or another. It teaches you the real value of life. And thanks God it happened to me when I was 23, so very early on. And that helped me, and that stewarded me toward my life on bettering my values as I thought my values were in the time I was living them. And as I was a mathematician, I got very early involved into entrepreneurship related to algorithms, information protection, card credit handling, because I started a company in Morocco nearly from scratch, thinking about how to better serve the banks, the insurance companies, the big companies, telco companies, security companies. You've been working with the government of the US in security. We were working with the Moroccan government also in that endeavor. So I was very passionate about it. So I started one company plus a second. It was a startup mode at the time. We were like 2, then we became 4, then we became 16, then we became 100, then we became 120. After several years, I sold part of my startups to a big group, to a bank group. And then the second part of my startups was bought by another group. So I did some nice exits, and on the way, I had outstanding, I call them outstanding because they're millions of dollars less than outstanding failures. So I failed miserably 4 times, but it learned me how to succeed better in an environment that was solely Moroccan. So when you have a tiny market as the Moroccan market, who is not that mature at the time, and people consider you doing something that is of use to them and for their clients, I think that's for us, it's a good mark. But I have to admit something. The US mentality helped me a lot. It taught me how to evolve, how to consider the relation between you and the client, how to do something of service that doesn't work if people don't have any problem. This kind of mentality of assuming your success as well as assuming your failures.
Thank you for sharing, and thank you for sharing a personal health situation, which you didn't have to, but we appreciate you going that deep to put a perspective into how you came about starting your businesses and moving to Morocco from Switzerland, where you were born. I'm going to shift a little bit now to one of your ventures, ep17, that you started a few years ago, and it's a health tech company. Can you give us a little bit of background about this health AI organization, how it came about, and what is it that you do within this business?
Yes, ep17 comes from the term epi, which is epigenetics.
Okay.
Because when you came to our headquarters this morning, you might have noticed in the wall and at the entrance, there's two signs. The first sign is the jet sign, which is just entirely tailored.
Okay.
So is there anything more tailored than epigenetics? I don't think so, because we all have different genetics. We're 8 billion people living alive today, 8 billion different genetic codes. So that should be considered. And a human, as a human, has to be considered with his or her differentiation.
Yes.
That's one. And second part of what is written in the wall downstairs is share to grow, which means never do something yourself on your own. Do it and share it with people. Share the work, share the profits, share the experience, share the knowledge with people. That's what we do at ep17 today. ep17 was neon means a new way of handling the epigenetics of people, whether by interacting with them, whether with their health, whether with their security or their protection. And I'll explain later, if you wish, why it's that. So we're very, very focused on investing. We're an investing company. We invest in the talent of scientists, which you saw part of here on coming over to see us, and thank you for that.
Absolutely.
We're investing in subjects that we choose according to one important thing, which is our transformative purpose. So alongside what ep17 is doing, in every single vertical we have, there is a purpose layer. And our purpose is to steward humans toward its resilience for longevity. It's adapted to humans, but it's going to also be adapted to organizations, which is whatever you are, medical, hospital, or whatever. So that means considering the human as unique. So as far as ep-well we're going to talk about is what the health part of it is concerned, is you're unique. We have to address unique nudging to you to take care of your health. And that comes to the moonshot. And the moonshot of ep17 through ep-well, which was one of the main verticals I'm handling myself with my co-founders, Absalam and Hicham Jacques-Joud, two brothers that are, one of them is an AI, a PhD engineer, and the other one is a physician.
Oh, that's wonderful. Combination of both sides of what the business is about.
Yes. Well, the phison doing physics. Not physicians doing medical, by the way.
Thanks for the
We're all mathematicians by training and by mindset. And we think it's good because it helps out see things from another angle than only the medical one when we have to discover things that we're going to discuss about. And we're all passionate about the AI and the hybrid quantum computing. And this second layer is a very important part of what we discover. Okay. And it helps us do some research as if we were at MIT or Stanford or whatever research center in a very strong, profound way. It's a tricky way to be a Moroccan in Morocco and do things that are going to be competitive with those types of environment I just mentioned.
It's very commendable too.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
It is. But we that's why when people ask me, I said, well, we cheat because we know about hybrid quantum computing that allows us to go very profound in our research, to discover materials, to discover frequencies at the surface of what we do. So alongside the transformative purpose, we have a moonshot. And the moonshot is to steward the humans in there toward tackling what we consider the greatest pandemic of all time, which is metabolic diseases and its effects, detrimental effects on aging. And we do that through the door of nutrition, nutriments, and movement, because we think those three layers help out solve 80% of the diseases as far as the human is concerned, knowing what he or she has to do with the data that is provided to them, by them, for them.
This is really interesting, and you start tapping into my next question. Epignon focuses on metabolic diseases. Are you focusing on one particular type of disease, or is it general where anybody that has pretty much anything that's related can use this particular software? And if also, can you talk a little bit more about this software?
Yeah. As a whole, we have a holistic approach. And the holistic approach comes in 4 quadrants. The quadrants are related in my book. The first 2 quadrants are physiological quadrants. And the physiological quadrants is more related to the relation you have with sugar, carbohydrates, which is linked to insulin resistance. Mm-hmm. Because we believe that insulin resistance is one of the main entry doors for metabolic diseases. That's what we believe, and that's what we learn about throughout the studies that we are where we're reading on a daily basis. And the second layer is more a psychological layer. There's the second part, which is stress. Stress has a big culprit that, as we studied, to the metabolic diseases and the disease in general. If you take diabetes type 2, diabetes type 3, which is called Alzheimer's, as you know it, cancers, metabolic cancers like colon cancers and all those types of pancreatic cancers and so on, obesity, cardiovascular diseases. All of this we saw as we are entrepreneurs that it's nearly 80% of the diseases worldwide. All countries together. There are many other diseases, but those ones are a pandemic because it's like a silent killer. You don't see it, but it's in you. You feel good when you eat carbohydrates or you eat transformed ultra-processed food. It's what happens to you when you eat the processed food that we have today everywhere, whether it's in the US, in Morocco, along Africa, Asia, name it. Ultra-processed food is nearly everywhere. And in my book, Renaissance Now, I mention a company, a guy, a CEO, that is handling AI to tweak food, to give you the food according to your taste, to your structure.
This is interesting.
But doesn't bring you any good because it's mainly carbohydrates. And he tweaks it to stay on the line with the regulation so that he can distribute it to schools and to soldiers. I told those 2 personas in the book. And the book shows how this guy, a billionaire guy, thinking he's doing good with AI used for tweaking food, is doing harm. And this is why we decided to give people the means by having a personal device that would bring up their own data on a continuous basis so that they can see by themselves what's happening to them when they're eating this or they're practicing this kind of sport, or that they're having this kind of sleep, so on and so forth. So the second layer, the first layer is about, as I said, glycemia, is about the heartbeat, is about the SpO2, as you see, and is about movements that you do, like the layer of relation between carbohydrate, transformed food, and so on is handled by one of the first non-invasive glucose monitor that we invented here, that will be launched at the end of the year. We're talking about nearly 1 billion people worldwide declared, probably 1 billion more not declared because they don't have the means to handle diabetes or whatever. So this is a big thing. It's the first of its kind that would be non-invasive at the size of what we call le galet. It's called le galet because it'll be in this part of your body.
Is it going to be an implant?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's non-invasive at all. So through hybrid computing, quantum computing, we could discover materials and frequencies to do it properly. So it's not about optical, it's not about anything of that kind. It's a completely different technology that we use. And we believe that it can bring a lot of good for the people because it's harmless, seamless, and it'll help. And alongside other types of sensors that are in the market already that we buy from different providers, this one is constitute the pillar of the physiological part. Then you have the psychological part. We developed another sensor, which is also our invention, and thanks to our team, ep17, which is the head of research, and Hicham also, which works on the physician part. We developed a sensor that can detect stress in 4 layers, which means 4 types of stress. Because as you know, there is good stress and bad stress. So we detect one stress which is detected as a good one.
I'm subject to good stress right now with you because I'm so excited about everything you're sharing.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, and we appreciate. And this good stress is much more a stress that is doing some, I would say, hormesis, which is hitting you in a good way, like if you were fasting or doing your sports or whatever. It's a kind of doing some good to your body, and we detect it. And some bad stress, having a bad sleep, that brings a kind of stress, having stress, fatigue at work, we can detect it. And other types of stress that we're detecting, non-invasively and seamlessly also. And also in the layer of the physical part, I forgot to tell you about something we're also developing, which is when you have like an Apple Watch or a Fitbit watch or a Whoop, which I admire because they were the first one to bring preventive way of people of handling their business, their health. We are developing a bit by bit heart detector, which is like an ECG.
Yeah.
But the I would say the difficulties we had, and we used also quantum computing for that, is how do you produce a bit-by-bit detector, whereas you know that Apples and others, they do it every 6 minutes, because otherwise you would have to recharge the watches every 2 hours, nearly. So how would you invent a sensor that would do that while you sleep, while you're awake? I mean, you can have a heart failure in 30 seconds, you're done. When you sleep, you have to detect your sleep patterns very precisely. That's what we do. We will do when it'll be out in the market and verified. But we wanted to do it so that you can handle it with the other types of sensors. We have 9 to 10 sensors altogether to be able to do that in this device. So it will be in the size of a galet. We wanted to be invisible, so you could put it in under your watch or under your bracelet. We wanted to be as invisible as it's seamless.
That's probably very seamless part.
So it's not something clinky, something you're going to look at like, oh, he's having a Rolex, or no, you're having a Rolex, but behind the Rolex you're having
something even more important. Right?
Yes.
And it will have all these aspects that you're talking about. So you're working both on the hardware and the software together for the purpose of better health for all of us.
Yes. And the third and the fourth layer for longevity, because we're in the metabolic longevity business, we
Yes.
don't forget this. And when you speak about longevity, you have to handle all the rest. I mean, you go from longevity, so to steward you from your age or my age to your 100 and 120 in good health, not only good health, but joy of life.
Yes.
And joy of life comes from the last two layers of what we do, which comes from a study done by the Harvard University on I don't know how many millions of people for 75 years. It's the longest study ever done on happiness and longevity. And it says when you learn something and when you share, you're having human-to-human relations, that's the best condition for you to live longer and to be happy in your life. So we took it as it is, not trying to invent from ourselves, just the psychological of it having 75 years of
data,
was strong enough for us to develop what we call ep17, which is an upskilling networking app that is linked to ep that allows you every single day, like we discussed off the records, that teaches you something that you want to have for your purpose and share with people that have the same alignment with you so that you can grow together above AI. Because what we have today is this AI that give us what already exists because the data they use already exists. It's easy for us, but it makes us quite lazy as far as critical thinking is concerned, 360 thinking is concerned. So we invented this technology, which is, like we said, cross-pollination technology to help out human and also organizations train themselves, train their staff, train themselves as human to be able to learn something every single day for 3 to 5 minutes and share it with another human.
That's an interesting aspect of sharing.
Yes, that's the main goal of ep17 is to share. I mean, the training aspect, everybody can bring it.
Is the data being shared or individuals are sharing their data?
No, you learn something. Mm-hmm. I nearly have the same topics brought to me by kind of podcast or just an article that is written by our AI.
Okay.
But completely tailored to what you asked for, because it's you're going toward your purpose, whether you're working in a company, whether you're using our Le Galet. And then from there, you are connected through an algorithm with a person that is the closest to what you got.
Or you're matched with somebody who has similar goals.
So you can talk to that person for 10 minutes to a quarter to be able to raise above AI and have some critical thinking, 360 thinking, and see life other ways but AI.
Include the human in this interaction.
Absolutely. And for us, it's tremendously important because it's good for longevity and it's good against AI. I don't say AI is our enemy. It's our friend, but we try to make it be used wisely.
Okay, it's a tool. And we had that discussion. It's a tool that we're leveraging rather than it is the truth.
Yes, it's supposedly augmenting us,
correct,
but not replacing us.
Very good. Yeah.
So this is why when you met one of our scientists, she's told you we're linked to doctors, to pharmacies, and things like that.
That was wonderful.
I mean, doctors are very important in the loop because they are the ones when all this data consolidated in the second pillar of those 4 quadrants, with the first pillar being the sensors. The second pillar is a differential nutritional diagnostics. And it's done through what you call, and I would call, an explicable AI, which is real data that comes from real medical consultations, not generative AI that we have it today, plus a layer of generative AI, but just to confirm or to infirm, because AI is pretty good at the end of the day in diagnosis. But we have to have the diagnosis from real people. The third layer is this layer I was talking to you about, which is growth and contribution, this 75
I love that part,
year study. And the fifth layer is a digital twin. It's your twin talking to you at your pace, at the timing you decide, not to be too overwhelming, nudging you into doing things properly because you've been having a bad sleep, or you've
Right.
been eating something that make your insulin spike. It's like a real personalized trainer that is alongside you, and this trainer is represented by our line of trainers that are going to be partnering with us as a part of Share to Grow, what I explained to you in the beginning.
Thank you so much. This is so deep and more than what I asked for, and I think the audience is really going to enjoy the different layers, different pillars, and understanding how it is tied to their health and well-being, and the intersection or the conversions of how AI is contributing and what parts of their health it is supporting. And also understood this is more on the preventative level, which is critical and where those most diseases are stemming from, right? So if we work on it, or on the preventative side rather than the reactive, we're pretty much preventing a lot of unnecessary visit or unnecessary fallouts when it comes to our health. I'm going to shift to the next question, which you alluded to a little bit. A lot of entrepreneurs and organization leaders are excited about AI, whether they understand AI, but everybody wants to embrace AI. And there is this increasingly question that being asked by everybody, which is, where's the value? I'm not going to just invest thousands or millions of whatever local currency you're in, and what is the outcome? So when you think about the technology that you're building within Epinion and EpiWell, how do you define and measure value? How do you define and measure ROI?
First, we define it by the figures. Does it help people first? If it helps people, they will pay for it. So figures are the measure of our success or our necessity to improve.
What are these numbers or figures you're talking about? Is it number of patients, or is it number of,
It's
diabetes?
a number of persons that are satisfied by using the tools, which is the market at the end of the day. So the go-to market will define whether we are aligned with people's need or not. This is the business. When we speak to people, they always say to us, okay, if you do that, like take the non-invasive glucose monitor, we're talking around 1 billion people. I mean, 1 billion people is not a small number.
No.
If we tackle 2 million of the 1 billion, we're happy. At least we helped out for 2 million people that want to stitch themselves every day, or have a glucose monitor implanted that they have to change every 14 days, or things like that, with the kind of precision that they expect. And precision is very important of our calculations. So having a non-invasive, precise, as an example, non-invasive glucose monitor is a satisfaction by itself. Knowing that a team of Moroccans in Morocco and abroad, in Canada and elsewhere, have been able to achieve this is for us, because I'd never speak about me, but us. It's a whole team.
It's a team
that is working, but I'm just a servant of a team, investing, yes, as an investment fund, but also helping out the team raise together. I have a daily meeting with them, which lasts for an hour, and a weekly team that lasts 6 hours. But the rest of the time, they're completely independent. They're doing their own thing. You see, the average age is 23, 25.
It's amazing.
So they are inventing things. I come to them and say, okay, there is this new agent. You can use it to do this and that, but check it. If you're going to go above, or if you don't need it, let us know tomorrow in the meeting that you don't need this agent, and this is why. Beware of this security layer you have to put up. This is my role. As for the rest, it's not me. And one of my co-founder, we developed a way to secure the information of our users at EpiWell through developing one of a kind. I'm very proud of it. And then it became another vertical because it's very strong. It's a post-quantum encryption layer. We have 3 scientists working on it. We have my co-founder Abdeslam. We have Naufal from an engineering school who we developed an algorithm called NAPKES, which protects the information at the sovereignty level, because we wanted to protect the information from the user of EpiWell. We went so deep with our silly quantum calculations that we do that we said, well, this is big. We can't leave it for ourselves. We have to share it with the world. So there's a new vertical handled by other people.
Right.
I'm helping out for far, but it's
handling
important.
the security of the data.
Totally. It can handle the security and the sovereignty at any country level and any company level.
That's very important when
yes.
dealing with international businesses or different countries.
Yes.
Because there are different guidelines for each countries where some data cannot leave the boundaries of that particular country.
Yes.
Correct?
And for health. It was developed for that purpose, but then we said, well, we have to open up to other people and for them to use it through channels that are specialized in it, not ourselves directly, but for them using to provide it to their clients and country clients and enterprises clients. So this was by looking at protecting our users, we went far beyond our own expectations in the beginning, and when we discovered this way of handling things, we decided to share it. And this is just to say that everything we do is concentrated about wellness and the resilience. With resilience comes sovereignty. Your data, mine, has not to be shared with anybody. It has to be used for your sake, my sake. I have to anonymize yours to train the model so that I can make you have a better feedback for your health, but it has to be encrypted all the way so nobody, including our company, can enter in.
That was my next question, and you answered it, because that's a very important aspect of AI, the data, who owns it, who is it shared with, and how it is protected. Every single user, patient, they want to know, is my data being somewhere else? Is it used for unethical things?
Yes.
So thank you for answering that question. You said earlier, and I read actually, you have many successful business exit, but you shared openly to me and whatever I read online that you also have failed businesses.
Yes.
This is not something people they go out loud and say, I have failed businesses. Yet you embrace those failures for whatever you're doing. And this is my question to you. And I think we talked about it a bit. Would you have started those businesses had you known they're going to fail? I know this is more an entrepreneurial question where HDC doing health AI, but a lot of ventures are, a lot of startups in health AI. We need to understand of these failures, of resilience, and should we even start in the first place?
To be frank, certainly not.
Thank you. I love this. I love it.
Certainly not. I learned a lot of good lessons, and most of them are not technical lessons. They're psychological lessons. Because you can say that a product doesn't fit the market, which is that you have to make it fit one way or another, pivoting or even eliminating the product that nobody needs because there's no pain to solve at the end of the spectrum. But psychologically, it helped me a lot. There was big failures, or multi-million failures, I admit. Those came first from my sentiment or my behavior of thinking that sometimes we think we know it all. So it hits you.
That's very humbling.
It slaps you in the face that you don't know everything. And that, in fact, the more you go deeper, even with those very disruptive technology like hybrid quantum computing, you know nothing. Because you discover a world that scares you in the depth you go. And then you know that not only you know nothing, but you cannot predict anything. You can prevent, but not predict. And you know, AI is like a predicting tool, but it predicts on the past. It doesn't predict on the future. Where when you go into quantum hybrid computing, you go into a layer that is above everything that talks to the universe. Just an anecdote. One day I was working with my co-founder ep17 on the post-quantum encryption algorithm, and we went into discovering other things, and we stopped. Because we didn't want to know and to go further, because we would lose focus and maybe we would get into something that would take us out of the zone we are following to get to the results we were looking for. And we stopped also because we said we're not capable today of handling this, because it's completely another thing that is above human beings. I can't go into too much details, but what happened is that we got to the extent, well, I never said that to anybody, by the way. Even my wife doesn't know about it.
Okay, it's going to be broadcasted, just to let you know. I don't want you to get in trouble.
And we said, okay, let's stop here, go back, and work our way. But back to the failures. First, teaches you that you do not nothing, that you better not think that you know and that you are the only one to know. It helps you know that you have to test with real people. That's one part of the failures that teach me lessons. That you're working with an ecosystem. Take ep17, you have the doctors.
Yes.
They're very respectable, and you don't do 12 years of studies and get out to help people and not being even considered. I mean, we have to consider them as very big part of our endeavor. This is why we're sharing with them to grow when they want to provide it to our technology to their patient. They will be the one providing it, not us. They will be the one stewarding. We even thinking of putting their voice into the digital twin. If you want to nudge someone, we think about it. Why? Because those people are to be honored for the job they do on a daily basis, to be honored for the fact that they see AI coming over to the market and asking themselves a lot of questions about their future, and to be honored because they have a human-to-human relations, which we as deep tech entrepreneurs feel that's the real thing. The human-to-human relation, which is part of Epi-Minded, is the way to provide your insights. And when you provide your insights and your view and your critical thinking, what you're sharing is love at the end. Because I love the person I'm exchanging with, to the extent that I provide the person to the best of my ability, what I think of what she thinks, to be in fusion together, to go above just the tech.
I had a question, and I think I wrote it somewhere, about organizations. I'm trying to, on the fly, to put it together. When they worry about the risk of failing or not adopting AI. And we have so many, especially healthcare organizations or organizations that are supporting patient health. And there's so much worry, whether it's the clinical side, whether it's the operational or the financial side. There's this hesitation or there's hype about it. How did you go about that when it comes to your own experience for others to learn from or to shy from? If there are examples that you're willing to share.
There is, and I will share it with you. I'm just trying to put ideas because we didn't prepare.
We did not. This is very informal, by the way, to our audience. As you can see, I'm putting him on the spot. And actually, the more answers you're giving me, you're creating more questions for you. And that's what I love about our global experts, that we don't prepare everything. As they're sharing, we start asking more questions, and sometimes it's some hard questions, and sometimes it's just volunteer. And I apologize for putting you on the spot, but you're giving me a lot of information that's making me ask you more.
Yes, when you're using those technology in such a deep way, for sure it helps. I'm going to tell you about a story that happened to me a month and a half or 2 months ago. I was at UM6P, which is one of the biggest and highly known university in Morocco and known worldwide, and Bulgaria. We were having a panel of entrepreneurs explaining how we handle our HR. And there was different friends that I knew that were handling their experience. This is how I handle my human resources. This is why I handle my guys. This is why I talk to them, and so on and so forth. I said, guys, I'm handling my guys very independently, and we have 42 agents alongside. The room, which is a 2,000 people room, went silent. I said that because that's the reality. You saw part of it today. But I said that because I believe AI is alongside us, and agents are alongside us. We use mainly agents for research. When you take this route, you consider that AI is something that is augmenting you, but also that it has to be, and that's the purpose of my book, put into boundaries so that it does not escape your control. And my book is about also the ethical way to use AI and quantum simulations. And you have the whole chapter, and you have all the countries of the world grouping together at Ben Gurir to mitigate the risks and decide about it. And it's not because it's my book, but I wanted to give the sensitivity of each continent. Like for the US, it was full blast, go for it, unstoppable.
No hesitation.
Europe, regulate. Africa, Let's go back to our roots, to our villages. This AI is good, but let's keep our roots.
Right.
The Middle East, like with the whole spectrum of how we can use it to be very advanced, but at the end of the day, keep our traditions as Bedouin very tight.
You operate in China as well, right?
Yeah, we having the agents that were saying, okay, tech is good, but it has to be controlled by the government. That's where the Chinese were saying this virtual conference, I would say.
Yeah.
So you had all the spectrum of mentality of people handling this AI and hybrid quantum thing. And the first one who intervened in this conference is a 14-year-old kid that I put into perspective to explain his view about how he sees the life in the future. It took me profound reflection to be able to put myself in the shoes of a 14-year-old kid. You have to bring a lot of humility by saying the 3 last generation nearly destroyed the planet. We don't show the right example right now as what is happening geopolitically. Power has a meaning that is more aligned with the power of power, more than the power of service. So all these lessons, when they're perceived by a 14-year-old kid, are taken by all those big guys that were in the room in a different way. At least they listen. They can forget, but they listen.
Good start. Yes.
It was for me. It was the way to say, guys, the future does not belong to us.
No.
So let's work it out in a respectful way for those young kids that are born and not born yet, because it goes so fast, it's so disruptive that we don't know. If someone tells me how is the world going to be in 3 years, I can't say.
No,
I can't tell you exactly how it's going to evolve. I mean, maybe you heard about Mythos, this AI from Anthropic that was launched about nearly not even 15 days ago, and that the government blocked because it was too potent. This shows that it can escape, and today we live in an era of agents that are self-recursive agents. Yeah. And you come from the world of AI, you know what I'm talking about. Those self-learning AIs can learn not only to enter everywhere, but also to do things that are not under our control anymore. And this is what scares me. As for the society. It's good for research, by the way, because they invent things. Yeah. Excellent. But for the society, when you use it extensively and you leave it, it goes and stock itself into calculators by itself. It goes into telecom networks. It goes back to protect itself. It's protected into other areas you don't know where. It can split itself. You know it because you're an AI expert. So when you know this, you know part of it is failing out of your control. I belong to a group of people, 600 people, that are called Abundance 360, handled by Peter Diamandis. Maybe you heard of it. And every year we have a conference. The last 2 years we had Elon Musk come into the conference virtually.
Oh, that's interesting.
There were 2 questions asked to him. First question was, why are you were supposed to sign for a moratorium for AI, and then you decided to go full on AI. Why is that? He said, in the beginning, I told everybody, and you can see it on social networks, that AI is more dangerous than nukes. I mean, we're talking about $1 trillion guy, so we can't say he's not successful. Then we said to him, okay, but then why did you decide to go full on? He said, because everybody was going. I couldn't achieve to be a multi-planetary company by not going. And there was no boundaries anymore, so I have to cope with the market to go through it. And we said then to him, what are the chances, to your opinion, what are the chances that AI will escape the human control, what we call human alignment, as you know? He said, I think we're around 20%. And we said, well, okay, so as you said, it's 20%. What do you think, as you know, it's that dangerous, more dangerous than nuke? What happens if it happens? He said, and that these real terms, I want to be alive when that happens.
He wants to be alive.
Yes, when that happens. I want to see it happening. Why? Because at this level of person, and he's not the only one, I believe, and some of the guys that are inside this group are billionaires with tech. Those guys, they consider that what they do is to bring good for the society, and they believe in it. They believe in UBI, they believe in abundance for everybody, which is a good thing, which I believe too can occur if and only if AI doesn't escape our control. Because then it can be completely detrimental. It becomes so dangerous for humans that we don't know. We are in the unknown then, as humans.
Yeah.
So, and this is for me something that we have to look at very, very closely, because Rashida, if I ask you the question as an AI expert, if I give you a coffee and you know that there is 0.5% that your coffee is poisoned, would you drink it?
No.
That's it. We're under 20%. You know about AI probably better than most of the people
Well,
worldwide.
thank you for the compliment, but I return the same thing to you. Whenever you think you know, there is a lot more to know out there.
Yes, but when you know that it can do harm, you have at least to say it.
Yeah.
So I said it through a book, because I believe I have to do my part, as you do your part having this podcast. But it's something we have to take into consideration.
You shared so much, and for our audience, we may have moved a little bit from healthcare, but we cannot ignore that digital innovation, deep tech, it's transcending healthcare, and all those spaces are interrelated. Yes, we're talking about health, but the advances in AI, and it is impacting. So it's a circular evolution, and we have to talk about the legal, the privacy aspect of AI separately, but how it's impacting healthcare. I'm going to go back to your entrepreneurial mindset. If you have to mobilize one asset in your team, your ep17 or other health AI ventures that you have, what would be one asset that you would focus on? Is it capital, talent, mentorship, network, or something else entirely from an entrepreneurial mindset?
I'll say the need of those people that are silently killed by metabolic diseases. I need to listen to them. I need to help them out. We would need real data from those guys. So for me, what the user is bringing to the entrepreneurial endeavor that we're having is the most precious things, because in the angle we're helping out with it. So give me to help you. It's like share to grow. You're sharing with me your data for me to help you feel better, have a good health, go into a great longevity, having a fulfilling life. That's what the most present asset for me. Money comes second. That's one. The second one will be, I will believe, the network, because the network makes the net worth, and the net worth is not, again, only financial net worth. It's the feeling that you have that you're doing a greater good. We've been talking offline about the Ikigai model, which I believe a lot. It's something that makes you be good at something. So we became good at doing what we're doing. We're cheating, as I told you, using this hybrid quantum. So that now we have discovered sensors that help out doing things in a better way for people, addressing 1 billion, 2 billion, metabolic diseases are nearly 80% of the worldwide population. So you're doing good for the population. Build an economical engine behind it. That means those 8 billion people, if we have 2 million, we're happy. I'll just say 2 million because the gap is so big, so that you can say what is the potential. I would love to go to 1 billion, 2 billion, but I don't know. I mean, it depends on how it evolves and so on. And then do it for the greater good, which means bring the people's data to you to help them for the greater good. So it's a kind of business generosity mixed together on doing something very focused but holistic at the same time, because you cannot consider the human genetic or epigenetic as one size fits all. It's precisely the opposite.
It's really interesting what you just said, the real data that you're collecting to help others to provide personalized care. I did interview an expert from World Health Organization, and of course, they're supporting health AI throughout the world. And one of the shortcomings, and this is why I love this mission-driven podcast, is I talk again to experts like yourself. One of the major shortcomings in developing countries in Africa is the lack of data. So this is a huge thank you for being part of that world solution, being able to collect data that could help you, could help me, that could help our kids and the next generation to be able to personalize. You cannot just build a model with data from other parts of the world and say this applies to somebody here in Casablanca or somebody in Morocco or in the Middle East. You're collecting data through this software to help people. I'm assuming this is just one part of it in Morocco and then it's moving to other parts, but within that particular region and country. So that's a huge thanks to you for being part of this greater good to personalize preventative care through your venture. Really
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
I had to share to share that because people may see it as just a device, it's just helping you individually, but worldwide, this is how you're contributing to it. So thank you on behalf of the entire audience, on behalf of myself and everybody else interested in getting a better predictive model, because you cannot develop that with data coming from somewhere else.
Absolutely.
So I made a note too. As you're talking again, we ask questions that were not part of our early discussions, but as you're sharing more, it just make it so much richer. And I know I abused your time. I took way more time than you signed up for. So for closing to our audience in healthcare leaders, clinician researchers, innovators, entrepreneurs in this space of digital health, what type of advice would you like to share with me and with them as they navigate opportunities for AI in healthcare, whether from entrepreneurial or whether from venture in health AI, or I know you talk about security and so many other aspects, whatever you're willing to share with us before we conclude this interview.
Well, in this, I will take it in the aspect of the existence of AI around us everywhere, and more with IoTs and so on and so forth. I would say live your life the more humanly possible. Consider the human relationship as the real gift that God gave you, whatever religion you're in, and cherish it, because that's what's leaving you human being human. And my second advice is that you can have the best idea in the world. You have to know that even if your ideas go into the market in a tremendous way, 90% of what we do will be hard, and you have to accept it. Maybe 5 or 10 will be pleasurable, but the rest will be hard. Just make the hard pleasurable because you know it in advance.
That's great. Thank you again. Those are great words of wisdom, and I truly enjoyed and learned so much from being with you today. Thank you again for being a great guest speaker, the HDC Chat Series, and looking forward to conversing with you again in the near future.
Thank you. It's my honor to be in your show.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the presenter and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the organization or entity represented by the presenter.